Hey folks, so I think it was about a week or so ago, Andrew put up a post on Facebook asking people to pick an album to review, any genre, any album, any artist, doesn't matter who it was, and assign it to one of the guys on the Hard Rock Show. And a lot of people did it, and he pulled a name out of the hat, and I got chosen. And I had to review an album that was chosen by our friend Ant Walter, or Walther, I think. Hope I got that right. Anyway, Ant, thanks Ant for this. Really appreciate it, mate. Basically, the album that I had to review was any album by an artist called Gladys Mills. Okay, now some of you may have seen Gladys Mills covers of her albums because they are quite interesting. This is the one that I did. Okay, Just Mrs. Gladys Mills, the album's called. Sorry I can't get a better picture, but anyway, whatever. Okay, I'm reading from some notes here that I wrote as I was listening to this. I didn't know where to start, firstly, because I put it on and yeah, I thought, what the hell am I going to write? So, but I thought, I delved into Mrs. Gladys Mills. Well, I didn't delve. I didn't dive, no. Anyway, I looked her up on the internet, on the Google machine, and I'll tell you a bit about her actually, because it's quite fascinating. Okay, Gladys Mills was English. She was English, from England. Musically active between 1961 and 1976. She died in 1978, aged 59, quite young. Mrs. Gladys Mills released 29 records in her career. She was a household name in 1962. Her manager was a guy called Eric Easton, who went on to manage the Rolling Stones. Gladys received a hell of a lot of TV and radio airplay back in the 60s, because that's what used to happen. You used to actually be able to get on TV and radio. It was amazing. Anyway, yeah, and she was, believe it or not, she was actually signed to the same record label as the Beatles, and she was signed at the same time as the Beatles. So their careers ran parallel, and that's pretty cool, I reckon. Managed the Rolling Stones, same label as the Beatles, recorded all their stuff at Abbey Road. Household name in 1962. The music. Okay, it's taken me 3 minutes to get to the music. If you like Thomas the Tank Engine, the theme song to Thomas the Tank Engine, you'll love this. I actually reckon that Mrs. Mills wrote that theme song. I'm going to look that up. I reckon she might have had a hand in writing the Thomas the Tank theme song, because it sounds very much like her music. That's it. If you know the Thomas the Tank theme song, then you know Gladys Mills music, okay, because that's what it sounds like. It's very cheerful, very uplifting piano music with a jazz backing band. Pretty cool band, actually, if you like jazz. And yes, it sounds like Thomas the Tank Engine. When I'm sort of at home here by myself, and even during the day with the kids and that around, I put on my digital radio, and there's a station called Adore Jazz, and it plays 1950s and 1960s jazz music, and sometimes 40s and 30s jazz music, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love that old style, really cool, 50s and 60s jazz. It was, I don't know, there's just something about it that I've always liked. So I have that playing around the house most days here. So this kind of wasn't all that foreign to me to listen to, because it's kind of what I listen to at home. I listen to a bit of metal and hard rock and everything, but my kids tend to tell me to turn it off, so I've got to put headphones on to listen to it. But yeah, music around the house is always this kind of style. So I quite enjoyed this album, to be honest. it's pretty good jazz and excellent piano playing, really fast, almost like a honky-tonk feel a little bit in the piano, and really good. Mainly instrumental piano songs. There are vocals on about 5 of the 13 songs on this album. Gladys had a voice that suited her music perfectly, I thought. She was clearly a better piano player than a singer, though. But she did the job very well vocally on this album. I thought her vocals, beautiful pitch. You know, there was no auto-tune back then, so Gladys had to get it on, and she did. Yeah, so quite good. The lyrics, like I said, there's only like 5 vocal songs on here. But the lyrics are like pub sing-alongs. I can imagine people back in the 50s and early 60s at the pub at knock-off time after work, and they'd be playing some Gladys Mills and everyone would be charging their glasses and singing along. Yeah, really, really interesting album. It's if you're a fan of jazz music, you might actually like it. I haven't gone into any of her other albums, and I probably won't, to be honest. And I'll probably never listen to this album again, because I'll just put my old adored jazz station on and listen to that. But yeah, a really interesting album. So, you know, I've seen the Gladys Mills picture that Ant put up on the original post that does a lot of rounds on those funny album cover things that get sent around. You know, there's the one with the guy with the big tuba and the girl that's bent over and he's got the tuba. Yeah. Gladys Mills' album tends to go on to those sort of memes. But I tell you what, Gladys was pretty damn good back in the day, and she had a following, a pretty large following, and signed to the same label as the Beatles. Manager was manager of the Rolling Stones. She got heaps of TV, radio. This album is an entertaining listen. It's very cheerful, very happy music, kind of music that, I don't know, maybe we should, well, maybe not hear more of, but, you know, the world's a bit of a dark place sometimes at the moment, and some of this uplifting jazz stuff can be really good for the soul and the brain. There's your tip, folks. Anyway, if I had to give this a rating, which I don't know if I was supposed to or not, but anyway, as far as like a jazz piano player goes, it's a 9 out of 10. It's seriously good. So yeah, there you go. That's my review of Just Mrs. Gladys Mills. I know I haven't given you the year that it was released and all that sort of stuff like what Andrew does, but that's because I'm a hack and I don't know what I'm doing. And that's it. You can get it. You can actually download it on Apple Music, along with about 10 of her other albums on there. Cheers. Enjoy.